Hello and welcome to Small Biz Central, the show where we exchange information and ideas about small business. I'm Tim Brunero. On this episode of Small Biz Central, we are going to talk about innovation. And of course, we're joined by our panel of experts. Don Wright with the University of Western Sydney, welcome.
G'day, Tim.
And of course, Samia Makran, Managing Director of Sassy and Savvy. G'day, Samia. And Kevin Croft, the Managing Director of Croft IP. Hello and welcome, Kevin.
G'day, Tim.
All right, let's meet our first business.
Hi, I'm Jim Gialoris, Inline Building and Construction Management Services. I've been a builder for over 30 years. I invented the Gigolo roof tool. I saw the need for a safe, efficient way of fixing roof screws to a corrugated roof sheet. To use the Gigolo, you simply fit the screw into the magnetic head. You place the Gigolo over the corrugation, simply press and screw, and that's it. Another important feature of the Gigolo is that generally roofs have a pitch. They aren't flat. In fact, there will be no corrugated roof that's flat. They are either at a 20-degree pitch or a 40-degree pitch. And this product here ensures that you do not place the screw in at the wrong angle, which will therefore create leaks. It forces you to actually go perpendicular to the angle of the roof. Plus saves black stress, saves on scratching, and saves on calling back to do touch-ups. My core business is building, inline building and construction. If the core business wasn't as strong as it was, there would be no possibility of me developing or getting the Gigolo at a design and development stage, because I wouldn't have had the funding to be able to bring the product to the market as I have. The reason for the name of the tool to be called the Gigolo is because if you look at the base of the actual TP of the tool, it's an actual jig. It goes over the corrugation of the roof, so therefore it needed to be called something to do with a jig. And the fact that it's a roof screwing device, it screws screws into a roof. I suppose the appropriate name was a Gigolo, which gives you a perfect screw every time. After the actual prototype was made, I then needed to make a mould, a tool steel mould, to be able to make the TP section of the Gigolo roof tool. Now, I obtained quotes from overseas. They were as little as $4,000 to make the mould. Their delivery to actually make that and have it shipped out to Australia between 3 to 6 weeks. In Australia, the cost of the mould was $20,000. I took the Australian mould price simply because I needed to be certain of the reliability of the actual mould that was being made, and I needed to be sure that I could get the product on time for what was specified by the supplier of the actual tool mould. The problem I had was that I had a couple thousand orders because the product was on the ABC New Inventors, and people were actually waiting for the product, and if I didn't get the tooling to manufacture the product by the specified date, I would have then had unhappy customers, and I didn't want to start out my business on that leg. I was totally overwhelmed with the response I had to the Gigolo roof tool from the ABC New Inventors. I had inquiries from worldwide companies, including Bramix, DeWalt, wanting to take up this product. In fact, I even had a tool wholesaler that's specialising in roofing products wanting to buy the product outright. Therefore, I sat back and unfortunately did not have the manpower to service all these people, to actually go out and move forward with them. So the situation I actually set up with my son, who's my son Ben, on a part-time basis, where he set up internet website and the product is now sold through the internet. We also have wholesalers in Western Australia. We have one in Samoa, one in Queensland, and then we have other hardware stalls that do actually sell the product.
Jim Gialoris there with his invention, the Gigolo, which gives you a perfect screw every time. Don, what is innovation?
Innovation, the way I would describe it is you can have an idea, but unless you can commercially exploit that idea to make money, basically, it's not an innovation. So an innovation is about commercial exploitation of an idea. Just a couple of observations there about Jim's tool, so to speak. I think it's really important for him to understand, and people in Jim's situation, when they've invented something fantastic like that that's got so much potential, internationally, just to understand the process of how to protect that intellectual property. And I know Kevin's going to talk about that later in detail. But yeah, I think it's really important if they can understand exactly the steps they've got to go through to try and make the most of their idea.
Well, we're going to try and do our best now to explain it. But an innovation can be a thing, like with the drill, but it can also be a process or an idea even.
Yeah, certainly it can be a manufacturing process. I mean, a lot of the sources of innovation within many organisations, particularly manufacturing organisations, it could be an improvement to a production or a manufacturing process that makes things more efficient and improves maybe the economies of scale or the production efficiencies involved.
Kevin, I've got a new invention, but I suppose the first question for me is, what's the difference between a patent and a trademark?
Well, a patent is a legal protection and gives you a monopoly right to use a particular invention, which is a device or a process that you can implement. A trademark is a design or logo that is in fact something that you use in association with commerce. So it can be something that's actually just decorative, it can be a name, it can be your business name. But it's distinct from an invention, which is a thing in itself or a process.
Sammy, you went out to the market and while your products you didn't patent, the fantastic face creams and stuff, you had some issues with which bit of your logo or your name that you trademarked.
Yeah, the trademark, where we went wrong is we realised that when you register a trademark, it should be number one in black and white. Not only register the company logo, but it's always best to register your company name at the same time and also register in the nationality of the country that you're going into as well. And also to register in the classes, because the classes around the world will also vary as well. We were quite silly, we were foolish. We just registered the company name thinking we're protected, but we weren't. So we were up for court cases around the world in regards to people using our company name.
And with immunity, because you'd done the logo but you hadn't done the name. That's interesting. So Kevin, the drill bit is something you would patent. The name, the Gigolo, is the trademark. What do I actually do when I come to you as an intellectual property specialist? What's the first thing that you do?
Well, I'd talk to a client about what it is they see as being the market opportunity that they want to pursue and what they've got to pursue that. What's unique about it? Do they know what else has been done? And if they don't, it's easy enough for them, without any real expense, to actually start searching on the internet and find out what other people have done and find what's different about what they've got. Because that difference is the thing that gives them a unique commercial opportunity and a competitive advantage. So really they can use just ordinary search engines and then go into more technical ones which are freely available through groups like IP Australia or the World Intellectual Property Organisation to find out what other people have done before.
Just to make sure it is new.
Indeed. Defining the difference is the real market edge that they've got.
Okay guys, Jim has got a question for us. Let's have a look.
So the question to the panel is, I am marketing this product online. Please tell me what other ways would it be possible to get this product on the market to take it to its maximum potential?
Kevin, Jim has had his prototype made at some expense and he comes to you, he's checked that it's new. What's the next step?
Well, Jim obviously spent a lot of time thinking about this and looking ahead. He was aware that there was a market opportunity and he wanted to pursue that. The feature is determining whether he wants to actually make each and every one of these devices and actually ship them out himself, or whether he actually wants to give somebody else the right under either a sale, he can assign his intellectual property to somebody else, or he can license it to somebody else to actually make
royalties.
It and get paid royalties. Now, a feature there will be he may be able to get money up front, which would reimburse him for his investment, or he may in fact want to defer that in the hope of getting more money from the market success that device actually achieves in the marketplace.
So he's got three options, and with a couple of them, he really needs to, from the get-go, be working out how to get some finance, how he's going to manufacture it, and how he's going to market it.
Jim was in a very unique position for a single inventor of being able to support some significant costs for developing the mould and that. That was a big expense that many inventors actually can't afford on their own. So they need to actually be able to find other resources. There are some others available, but you need to actually know where to look and start looking around. Patent attorneys are good advisors on this. They can point people in the right direction, but it's an important part of the process to actually look around to find where those resources are.
Samia, I know that you have developed so many different products with the face creams and the kind of using the native Australian, flora to actually invent them. I suppose you get emotionally attached to them.
You do. And at the end of the day, a product is a product, and you've got to get it out there to market because there's a lot of investment behind it. So you go through either your distributors, or you can basically go through agents, finding agents where you're paying a commission on sale, or you can go directly, he can go direct to the hardware companies or whatever, and sell it at a wholesale price. Obviously he's selling it online, so therefore he's making higher profit margins. So it depends on basically the investment versus the return again, and how much he wants to make. Going via the distributors, obviously he'll be making less profit margins compared to going via a wholesaler, but the high profit margins will obviously be online. Or directly he can basically go out and hire sales reps and go out on the road and sell the product.
Kevin, I suppose there's a whole lot of time limits at play in here. If I go on the New Inventors, as Jim has, and I'm publicly talking about it, do I have some kind of time block, which a deadline to make sure that I've patented it or at least put in the initial specs?
The patent process has some extreme deadlines in it, and it's extremely important to be aware of them. First of all, you shouldn't be talking about marketing your product before you've actually filed your original patent application. If you miss it, then you can actually undermine the validity of your own patent application and your entire market opportunity. So you file a provisional application most of the time, and within 12 months you must file a complete application. Most people then will wait out the next 18 months to determine which countries they actually want to file national phase applications in. The complete application done under the Patent Cooperation Treaty will give them the option of choosing any of more than 130 countries. So they've got plenty of market opportunity to choose from. There's always a price to go with that. So they're looking at where the markets are, how they're going to get a return on that investment, and how they're investing in that patent in order to generate a return.
Just really quickly, Tim, I'd say that the first thing that I think Jim should do is talk to someone who can help him professionally in terms of marketing that product, because I think he talked about his son developing a website, and I'm sure they're doing a great job, but certainly sitting down with a professional marketing person who can step them through the process, and talk to people like New South Wales Government who have an innovation hotline and an innovation service where someone will come out and sit down with you and go through the steps involved in commercialising your product.
I know that Ben is a sales guru, but as Jim said, he's working on it part-time.
Lots of resources there. Go out and use them.
All right, let's take a quick break on Small Biz Central. Welcome back. Now let's meet our second business.
I'm Lou Papi. I am a mechanical engineer. I'm born in Rome too many years ago. I work in innovation, and the majority of the time we research and develop product on behalf of clients. Sometimes we do it for ourselves. And we work in product like special syringes with the ability to disengage the needle, wheelchair, that's as our product. Venting system for houses. We have developed piping system for BlueScope, and we have developed for a client a special blanket to cover in a house in case of fire and bushfire arriving near the premises. It's very difficult to say to people, I am an innovator and do a lot of research and development. Here I am, what can I do for you? You have to show to the people what you have done. Finance is always difficult for anybody that need to innovate, and it's not enough support or assistance at state level or federal level. and therefore in many cases the people have to raise their own finances. The business growth was only related to word of mouth, so a lot of people came to me on my previous reputation within the industry as an engineer and in charge of a large manufacturing company, and we come up with an idea that can be beneficial to an organization that maybe is stagnant and doesn't have too much research and development and innovation. The reason why the company has my name is because I am the brand. And so my expertise, my reputation have given the opportunity to open up a new business for myself. On the legal issue, the one we face very often is the ownership of intellectual property. And we normally advise our client that when they come to us with an idea or a proposal or a product, not to disclose anything till we sign for them a non-disclosure agreement. We have developed a system, my wife and I, in which when we take an assignment, I laboriously sit to get down and write a proposal to a client, explain what my understanding is of what he would like to achieve, how we planning to resolve and innovate and bring to the market the product that he has in mind, and what we will do for them, how will be done, how much that will cost. And the client have to sign for acceptance, because we have to be sure that my understanding is correct. The wheelchair came about because due to my involvement with the University of Western Sydney and being involved with the nanotechnology working group, one day I come across a special tube that was extra strong and very light. I apply one of the other principles in which our business works. This means is user-centered design. So the first thing I did do was to go and talk to a friend of mine. She was living on a wheelchair. Try to understand what the needs were and what the efficiency on the current product is. One of the major costs that we have in a wheelchair has been the acquiring the intellectual property at the international level in 37 countries. So intellectual property is very important and also is very beneficial, but also can be very costly, but is a necessary evil of innovation.
Lou Pappy there, and I absolutely love his idea that the giant blanket that goes over a house that stops it getting burnt in a bushfire. And I can't for the life of me work out why he hasn't been able to get that to market. I mean, Don, do we have a culture of innovation in Australia?
I think we do. I think we have a natural resourcefulness, and certainly within industry, you know, some of our long-standing industries, the automotive industry, there's fantastic innovation goes on all the time. And I think Lou's a great example. You know, he's a guy who's done a fantastic job in developing a device that would be so useful to so many people. Worked with the University of Western Sydney, you know, picked up some of that nanotechnology. It's just fantastic. So
there's so many fantastic inventions. I mean, once you start listing them, it's hard to know how to stop. You know, there's the lawnmower and
Cochlear
and ResMed with the Hills hoist. Of course, wireless internet was an Australian invention. So we are massive inventors. We've got one here with us. Samia, we used Australian flora to bring new beauty products to a world market.
We sure do. I mean, it's very costly. I always say innovation or ideas are the currency of entrepreneurs, but the challenge is manufacturing a product and marketing a product is two different things. So what we basically tend to do in our market is I actually travel around listening to our distributors and more importantly their customers. What do they actually want on the market rather than inventing and then trying to come out. So that really, I mean, that's 50% of the marketing already done. So it's based on the research, looking at the investment and looking at the return. So it's listening to the customer at the end of the day, what do they really want, and then coming up with a brand or an innovation or an idea. It usually has one or two unique selling points in the product, and that's about it, and that's what we drive.
The market research actually drives the innovation.
Yep.
Kevin, it's funny because Lou has got so many fantastic ideas. This wheelchair is just fantastic. It has no axle. It's so light. It can be taken apart. But he's almost an innovator and an inventor.
Well, he is an inventor, and in fact, for the wheelchair, of course, what he's done is very cleverly developed something that where he's seen a piece of technology and actually adapted that to a particular market need. And so he's built a device that actually applies that technology for a specific market need. Now, market is the important thing in innovation because innovation is commercial. Market is a necessary thing to be there all the time. And lots of people that I've met over my career have come up with great ideas that really just didn't have a good market or a good enough market for them to actually be able to make enough money out of it for it to be worthwhile as an investment. I've seen excellent technologies that reduce energy consumption, reduce water consumption, but the expense of it, bringing them into the marketplace is too high to actually warrant that investment.
So you have the idea, but do your market research before you go and get a prototype built?
All of those things need to come together, and it really is a matter of putting an idea together with market, looking at what other people have done, making sure that you can see yourself as having something distinct, and then pursuing the marketplace. In the end, unfortunately, there's no guarantees of success, and many more good ideas disappear along that path than actually achieve market success.
In some ways, Don, it's about, is there a need for it, I suppose, out there? I mean, I'm instantly thinking of The Castle and Steve being told that he was an ideas man, but all these ideas that no one wanted. Or what about video calls on telephones? Lots of hoo-ha, but who actually video calls anyone? Look at Skype. We all use it, but there's no money in it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there is potentially money in it, but I suppose you've just got to come back to the fact that innovation involves risk. You know, there's commercial risk and there's technical risk, and that's important. We have to be prepared to take on risk, and we will fail, but we can't use that. You know, sometimes we'll fail, but we can't stop there. You have to keep going. You have to learn from every experience and keep going.
Well, let's go back to our master inventor and innovator, Lou. He's got a question for us.
My question to the panel is quite simple. How do we support innovation? Without innovation, then is no future. And we have to find a way to support innovation in society, in industry, in education institution, and in government. This far, I believe that in Australia there has been a large failure from all organisations at all levels in supporting innovation. So the panel maybe would like to address that and come back to us with some advice and guidance.
Well, Lou makes a fantastic point. Are we investing enough? Are we culturally investing enough in research and development through, I suppose, the government giving tax concessions or grants?
Yeah. Look, there is a role to play there for government, no doubt, and we can argue about how extensive that role is, but I think there is a responsibility back on entrepreneurs and back on business owners to drive innovation within their businesses as well. And I think that's part of what governments try to do, is they try to inspire that or motivate businesses to take on that innovative approach to running their business.
At the level of research and development, Australia's public sector spends more than most other OECD countries, but our private sector underinvests in research and development. Now, our private sector is much better at taking on things when a product has been developed, but that early stage risk, there's just not enough money going into it. So it's got to be a balancing act. The government does have a role, and there are now new initiatives coming into play. Commercialisation Australia has multiple initiatives that haven't yet had purchased because they're only quite new. There are other programs that people are just unaware of, and I think that one of the challenges for innovators and inventors is actually understanding where those opportunities are. The web is a good place to start looking, but there's so much information. So wondering whether you're going to use the R&D tax concession for an established business, that's an important way to use public funding.
Well, this is what we keep saying on Small Business Central is do your business plan and network. And Samia, you're a big networker, getting out there, finding out
Definitely.
what the... I mean, even with Austrade, you've got to get them in, they've got to see your business, they've got to get used to you and find out your fundamentals. I mean, I know that the government supports green technologies and medical stuff, but what else is out there?
I mean, there's so many different levels. When I first started, I was basically networking on a local level, on a state level, on a federal government level, on an association level, and also the Female Women's Network Australia, that now has 25,000 members all around Australia. All these different networks, they'll come up and they'll tell you these are the grants that are available, these are the awards that are available. At the end of the day, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And once you find out that, you've got to ride with it.
Don, it seems to me that it's imperative that we, through the private sector, as Kevin's pointed out, but also the public sector, try and get away from our commodity addicted economy, mining, farming. We need to future-proof our economy because eventually they're going to run out. So that we can be a successful
I think
economy.
that's really important. I mean, those little manufacturing businesses. Manufacturing is a huge employer in Australia, and it's an industry that we can't afford to let go. So I think it's about those businesses setting themselves up so that they can create a culture of innovation within their business. They put in place the mechanisms that will help their people be creative and give them some freedom to be able to innovate and develop new ideas and new solutions to problems.
So, Mia, what about the education sector making more strategic partnerships with small business? We've got some fantastic scientists in our tertiary institutions, universities.
Yep.
Is there a way that they can sort of throw small business a bone?
Oh, absolutely, because a lot of the universities now currently around Australia, they're all getting government funding, and a lot of it is actually being poured into the medical industry, and that's where a lot of the universities will team up with small, medium-sized businesses, and they go in partnership with each other.
available.
Absolutely, yeah. So.
But the challenge is always for people to actually identify who they want to partner with and how they're actually going to go about it. We saw Lou's story. He was working in nanotechnology and came up with an invention that's a wheelchair. And so being creative about this, working in your field and developing from your own field and looking for contacts in other fields.
A couple of things I'd say, Tim. Go to the websites, go to Commercialisation Australia, go to New South Wales Government, they have AusInvent, there's online assessment tools, there's lots of resources there. Go to AusIndustry. It doesn't take a lot of time. Go there, look at the sites, and you'll dig up lots of support and assistance that's available to small business.
So, in summary, an innovation must have a market need, so make sure you've done your market research before you invest your money. Don't market or publicise your innovation before you've got patent protection, as strict deadlines apply. Make sure your innovation is indeed new by searching online or getting a thorough technical search by IP Australia. Decide whether you are going to manufacture and market the product yourself or sell or license it to a third party. Encourage a culture of innovation in your business by giving staff the freedom to be creative and to find solutions to problems. Well, this has been one of our most exciting episodes because it's about the future and innovation, but unfortunately we've come to the end of it. We haven't got much any more time. So thank you guys so much for joining us and taking part in this exciting discussion. And of course, can we thank Lou and Jim Gialoris for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Of course, we've got plenty more resources on our website, www.smallbizcentral.com.au. We'll see you next time.